In my life playing music, which really started in earnest as a teenager, I was always very, very inspired by the Memphis High Records sound of the 70s, particularly at first the Al Green albums. I'm Still in Love with You being probably my all-time favorite of that era. And then as I deepened my love for that sound, the Willie Mitchell sound, the producer and songwriter for that stuff, I got into Syl Johnson, Ann Peebles, Otis Clay. Such an incredible legacy, that sound. And on my last album, Saving Grace, I had the opportunity to actually record half the record with members of the high rhythm section that was the house band on all those records. Howard Grimes on drums, Leroy Hodges on the bass, Charles Hodges on the organ, and their brother of Leroy and Charles, the late, great Teeny Hodges on guitar. Teeny had a really distinct style of playing. Teeny was also a great songwriter. He co-wrote Love and Happiness, which is the basic groove that we're going to work with here is just the one chord from Love and Happiness, which of course, if you know that track, it's that one real long vamp at the end of the track that Al improvises over, and they bring in all those great horn lines and backup vocals and stuff. And Teeny just holds down this A-flat minor chord progression with a little riff added to it. And I think it's one of the most beautiful examples of arrangement in this style and in his sort of canon of guitar playing. I'm going to do a little variation on it today. I'm not sure what exact fingering Teeny was using on this, but basically, if you take it, this key is A-flat minor for Love and Happiness. Not the most likely key for most guitar players, but it's a great key, a lot of fun to play in. And I really believe that every key has a different kind of emotional resonance to it. And it can really, changing a key by a half step can completely alter, especially how the singer performs, how the band performs, and really kind of on a cellular level, how the melody can be received by the listener. So A-flat minor is a fun key to explore, and we're going to mess around with it today. And here's an A-flat minor chord, 4th fret. And of course, that's what you hear Teeny arpeggiate that at the top of the song, right? Except he makes it a dominant 7. So take your pinky off. Love and happiness. And that's what Al sings over at the top, does that whole gospel intro. So instead of playing the chord like this, I like to play it with my thumb in the bass, and I get a A-flat minor 7th, thumb in the bass, I remove the 5th, and I bar the first string on the first 4 string, or the first finger on the first 4 strings. Now, Teeny has a really chunky sound when he's doing this, so now I'm going to bring these two back in and put the thumb in the bass, and then the rhythm part is really complex on this. So I'm going to start by showing you just the basic rhythm, and then eventually we're going to add some melodic sort of motif things to it. But here's the first thing we're going to work on, is getting this basic sort of groove that's like a train rolling. Again, the right hand is a percussion instrument. And what we're going to do is it's all downstrokes, and we're going to put special emphasis on the low E string thumb. Start with that by itself. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you want to follow that pulse. And man, I'm so lucky to have played music with these guys and even toured with some of them in Japan 3 years back for a couple weeks. And there's a certain thing they get into when Howard Grimes, the drummer, they call him the bulldog because he grabs that groove, he doesn't let go. And specifically, I've always noticed how he plays physically up on the hi-hat, and he has 2 big crash cymbals as his hi-hat. It's the distinct sound of those records is how Howard lays into that hi-hat. Dun, 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 dun. And he's playing those 8th notes, right? So what you want to do as a guitar player when you're playing a groove like this is you want to kind of shadow those 8th notes with the hi-hat of the drummer. And then here comes that Memphis chop, those short notes on the chord, the whole chord. short note, not. That's a whole nother style of guitar. What makes this thing work is the short, and your left hand, your fretting hand, is kind of pulsing. So you're taking the pressure on and off of the chord. This is a really hard thing to do, to keep in time, to have a good feel, to keep the notes clean, to get the pick variation. Take your time with this one. I guarantee you, having a great quarter note, a great eighth note, and a great 16th note with your right hand is going to make you one of the most popular guitar players with any singer, songwriter, arranger, or producer. Take the time to develop it. Let's give it a shot. We're going to roll through this thing. We're going to trade off 4 bars at a time, go back and forth, and just really concentrate on keeping time and locking in with that hi-hat, locking in with the bulldog, Howard Grimes. All right? That's the concept we really want to get. And remember, short notes and long notes, and I'll remind you as we go through. Let's do it. That's right. Lock in with that hi-hat. You get your short notes and long notes. Grab that groove and don't let go. My turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. Follow that hi-hat. Don't let go. Watch your pick. Long notes on the low end. Short notes on the chop on the chord. That's it. High rhythm groove. All right, so now we're going to get into the vamp out that you're going to hear on the Al Green record. I'm going to do my own interpretation of what Teeny is playing there. So we already got this thing established. I'm playing slow. Now we're going to add a little fill, okay? And it's a pull off. So we're going to pull off on the 3rd and 4th string from 6th fret to 4th fret, and then land back on the 5th and the root on the 5th and 4th string. So it goes like this. So make sure you get the pull off. And I use my thumb. I mean, you could also play it like this. I just don't like moving around that much, to be honest. And I love the position, the baseball bat grip on the guitar, because it allows you to keep a nice straight wrist, which is more healthy for your fretting hand anyway. And, you know, no one's going to know the difference between, you know, they sound pretty much the same. I feel like it makes the pull-off a little easier, too, to have your hand in that. I feel like I can play it a little bit cleaner like that. So, you know, you could try it either way, really, but I would recommend, you know, since we're doing this together, try it with the thumb and see if you can get it. And now let's add this little triplet sort of flourish to the vamp. ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. Again, still staying with that hi-hat. It's all about those eighth notes. All right, my turn. 2, 3, 4. The low strings as the hi-hat and the high strings on the chord as the snare drum. You want to complement what the drums are doing, and you want to sit right in there and drive that bass line along. It all just moves along smooth. It's the magic of how those guys created these grooves. So now let's take a look at this thing, and you know we got the groove locked down. We got the guitar working like a drum. You know, we got the whole thing sewn up rhythmically. We got a little triplet motif to kind of, you know, bring in a little bit of rhythmic and melodic variation. Now another way you could approach this A flat minor vamp is, let's say all this stuff is going on and people are already playing all these parts. You're trying to find somewhere to fit in. Let's try some sort of Teeny Hodges Memphis-style guitar, and throw in a little melody with some bends based on the A flat minor scale. So A flat minor pentatonic scale, I should be specific. So 4th fret, we all know that one. There's also an extension of it. All right, going up to the root. So what I'm going to do is what I think this is called a reverse bend, if I'm right, but to a pull off to the minor third on the 3rd string. Then we're going to do a slide up with vibrato, and then we're going to go. So the back half, it just does the lower octave of the root. Again, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. 3. But instead of playing it back to back, let's practice leaving space, okay? So the first time, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And let's do a slide on the back half, all right? Again, let me demonstrate it again with the space. Slower. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And don't be afraid to get a little slinky with where your beat is on the back half of those phrases. And the whole idea of this is it's something that's complementary to the rhythm section, a bigger rhythm section, and also to the singer. And it sets up kind of like a horn line. You know, but it's very guitar, though, you know, with the reverse bend and the slide and the vibrato. It kind of just adds this little extra slinky element that you can stick on top of a groove. This is like the cherry on top. So let's try and we'll trade. I'll do it a couple times in a row. And remember, there's a couple bars of empty space in there. This is your chance to kind of enjoy how the guitar can be used in a spacious manner and fall back into one of these big fat Memphis grooves. All right, let's let it go around a couple times. Can set up the feel and find where to feel this line against the beat. Here we go. Shake that note, slow vibrato, and you can pull back on the beat if you want. Think like a singer. All right, my turn. I'm gonna finger pick this time. First finger. Yeah. So feel free to vary the last one. 2, 3 with your finger picking. Now go way behind the beat, way behind the beat. Think like you're Al Green. That's it. Now we're singing with the guitar. That's when we're really getting in the right spot. All right, guys. So let's try and do one more, and I'm gonna kind of go out of the box a little bit more here. And let's say we're in the situation where we've got all these parts being played. All right, you're trying to find somewhere else to fit in. I would say, again, this is like, I'm kind of like a broken record, but I kind of define everything on the guitar by major and minor triads. It's what helps me to explain pretty much anything. It's a great way to kind of like understand how to get music built, not only harmonically, but dynamically and in terms of register. So let's talk about another register for a minor triad in the key of A flat minor. We've got this one pretty well covered today. There's another one up here. All right, so now let's put something in there where this would be a guitar part that you would put on top of all the things, like as if you were to layer this into a track or into a performance. We're just going to play on 2 and 4. Now on the 2 chord, we'll keep it short. On the 4 chord, we'll do a little bit of a variation. So on the 4 beat, on the other side of it, ba-da. So it's like down up, but with that really sharp accent to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And I always I'm kind of keeping time, you know? And don't worry if some of those little pops fall in there. That just kind of adds to the gumbo when you're doing these kind of grooves. So I'll demonstrate it for you a few times through, and we'll go back and forth. Let's try it. Long, short. My turn. It's kind of like little stabs with the horns. That's a great way to layer on top of what we've already established today. So what's so cool about TrueFire and the way these guys have figured out how to do this thing is you have, the tools and all the stuff that's available to break these things down and really practice them methodically. So make sure you take the time to use the tools that are available on this platform. And, really this is kind of like state-of-the-art learning technology to learn kind of really like ancient groove craft, in terms of like the establishment of American roots music, recorded, at least American roots music. So take the time, enjoy the technology. It sure is a lot easier than what I had to do with vinyl records and CDs. So have some fun.